Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is, why a person's doing what they're doing, why you would be even attracting a person that's of that vibration into your life, especially if you're someone that feels like you've done a lot of healing work on yourself. A lot of times we're attracting karmic mates. We're not attracting soulmate twin flames or life partners. We're attracting people that come into our life and teach us, but they teach us by leaving karmic consequences. And karmic consequences is when you deal with people of a low vibration, even if there's a connection, you know, we wind up getting hurt because someone on a low vibration is going to be avoidant. They're going to be childish. They're going to play games. They're going to have bad morals and bad character because they're living more from their trauma than they actually are in the moment, in the present moment. Only in the now do we get divine guidance. Only in the now do we really understand what's happening. But the thing is, when you get into a relationship with someone that hasn't done any healing, they're getting triggered left and right from you just being you, not because you're demanding, not because of anything that really you're doing. You're just being you, but you're being accused of doing because, again, people are not all living the same reality. A lot of people are stuck in their trauma. So we have to understand when to disconnect from energy. We have to recognize like the signs of dealing with a karmic before there's real negative karmic retribution, right? Because when dealing with people of a lower vibration, all of a sudden you don't just lose your money a lot of times or an opportunity, lose friends. You all can also lose yourself, more importantly, in the process. So we don't want to do that. And if God forbid that's happened, well, we want to find a way back to ourselves. All right. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. I'm really sorry about last night. I tried to log on to do the Healers Coaching Program, but there was a storm going on outside and the internet just kept dropping and kept dropping and kept dropping. I tried 4 times, 4 to 6 times, and after that I was like, you know what? That's it. That's it. So it is rescheduled for today at 4:30. I'm going to put it up in a little while. Hopefully the weather will be more cooperative today. So I just wanted to put that out there for my coaching clients. I was really looking forward to it last night. Today's topic is going to be about avoidance and how to deal with avoidance because we see that karmic theme continually play out within these type of shadow readings. It's just a characteristic of a person that has a lot of spiritual blockages, that has avoided doing their healing. Understand spirit, the universe brings people into our lives to do the healing, to create awareness. We wouldn't know what was blocked unless we got triggered. But when you're dealing with a person that hasn't done their healing and they're dealing with you and they're living their reality and everything that you're doing is triggering them, even if you're not doing anything, well, you know that you really wouldn't be able to be in a relationship with that person. No, not without negative consequences. And that might be, well, in order to deal with them, you had to like abandon yourself. You had to watch what you said. You're walking around on eggshells. All that is not normal behavior when you're in a relationship with someone. All right, let's see what the underlining energy is. Anything of any importance and relevance to the channel, you can find again in the description box. Don't forget, if you want to click on, if you want shadow healing, you have to click on the link in the description box and sign up to catch today's class at 4:30. All right. Now the underlining energy is aggressive. Aggressive. Ooh. I'm just gonna pull another one to go just a little bit deeper. Anxiety and worry. Well, it's funny. For the longest time, when you were young, if you saw someone really angry, you'd think, "Oh my God, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. They're angry." But really, anxiety and aggression comes from having a lot of anxiety. There's only two energies, love and fear. However, to be in this angry energy, it makes you feel a lot better than if you're fearful. So I feel like you're dealing with a person that a lot of times gone by. This person's played a lot of games with a lot of different people, and they've backed themselves into a corner. And when a person has gotten caught doing something and then they're so like protective of their stance, defending themselves and almost like acting mad. So funny, I just saw in my head George Costanza on Seinfeld, if you ever watch Seinfeld, when he says, if you act angry all the time, people think that you're busy at work and they don't bother you. And but so this guy used to go into work every day and fall asleep underneath the desk and not do any work all day. But whenever anyone saw him, he would just be angry. So people would always think he was busy doing work. And it's almost like this person is putting on that energy. They have a lot of anxiety because they know they're wrong. They know they back themselves into a corner. They burnt bridges with everyone, not just you. I feel like this person is being publicly shamed right now. So they're in a state of anxiety and aggression because they know that they disrespected you when it comes to the relationship with you. And they doubt quite highly that you're going to take them back. And this makes them angry because, hey, they avoided you because of pride. They wanted to be stubborn and stay selfish, where they didn't really want to change. They wanted everything their way. So what wound up happening is that you started to not trust them and became resentful and became intolerant and you let go. This person avoided you because they didn't want to deal with any criticism. They didn't want to deal with it. Meanwhile, the whole time they were dealing with you, they excluded you from everything. So they wouldn't have a problem like inviting other people, spending time with friends. You just felt like you didn't exist. And you wanted to feel involved in this person's life. And because you would say something, again, they would act aggressive. They would act mad. They would, like, you weren't allowed to ask. So it was their way of, like, trying to make you not ask. When a person acts all aggressive and you have to walk on eggshells to talk to them, well, over time, you're not going to ask them for anything. You're going to become very independent. It's like this person didn't really want to be in a relationship. And so anything that could create any type of intimacy, they just excluded you. And you felt isolated. You're like, I'm in a relationship with someone that they're never in my life. And so what you found was that you became more and more depressed because, hey, there would be times that you thought that maybe that you'd spend some time with them, whether it was, a holiday, a birthday, just as something special happening in your life or happening in this person's life. This person made you feel like a friend, but more like an acquaintance. They always kept you at an arm's length. And you just felt like they would go into hermit mode like for long periods of time without saying anything to you, but you always felt that spiritual connection to them. And after time, you just felt like it left you alienated and isolated because, hey, you don't know what they're doing when they disconnect and go into hermit mode. They're not saying, I'm going into hermit mode. What you thought is they're talking to other people, they're excluding you out. But what they were pretty much doing is sending you a message. And that message is, you're not that important to me. Even if they would say different words, even if sometimes they would show you affection. You got tired of the abuse because the in and out, up and down, back and forth, it's real narcissist behavior. It's this person never allowed you to get comfortable. And they never allowed you to get comfortable because, again, when it came time for them to talk and have a conversation about whatever was bothering them, because in a relationship, that's what will happen. You're not dating yourself. So instead of this person working through anything, they just would avoid you. And there was this assumption that you were always going to be there. And you had assumed too that they cared enough that they were going to change. They didn't want to change. And it didn't mean that they didn't have feelings for you. What it meant was, I'm selfish. I want everything my way. And now they're aggressive because, hey, what they see is, I doubt quite highly you're going to take me back. And whatever else is going on in this person's life, this was just a fling. That's the way that they acted. And that's what they want you to think still. They want you to think it. I have sexual fantasies about you. Again, it's more about the physical, there's no emotional. It's like, yes, I'm passionate for you. I have this, you know, um, lust for you. It's like where I think about that a lot, but anything that requires them to show any type of emotion, they're not going to do. Here it is. There was a third party, even though you're my twin flame. You're my twin flame, but there was a third party here that was, preventing this person from actually being in a good relationship. I wish I could take it back. So that's why they're not happy right now. We've been getting similar stories like this lately. So it takes time. A lot of times, it doesn't, it takes like a few months, not just a few days for a person to like actually get the courage to change. And so what we see is that this person now is pissed off because, hey, I made the wrong choice. This person has a lot of unhealthy attachments, and this karmic being one. So it's like the more time that goes by, well, the more that this person has anxiety. So what I feel like is that they're connected to somebody that knows that they don't want to be with them. They just don't want them to be with you. So again, we see the neglect, and the reason why is because this karmic is like, well, you're neglecting me. Like, you're not giving to me because there's someone there. It's like this person may not know who you are, but they know that someone is sitting in their seat, is what they feel like. And because the person that's connected to you, doesn't want to spend any time with them, won't give them anything emotionally. And that's really pissing them off. It's again, so this karmic is tempted to like really like they want to opt out. They're really tempted to opt out of being in this connection because they feel like it'll be better in the long run. And that's what this person is trying to do. I feel like your person is in a connection with somebody that they don't want to end things. They want that karmic to end things. That's why they've been holding back the whole time. And so they haven't been giving to anybody. But this is the way this person's choosing. And so the thing is that this person just is, again, trying to make things extremely hard by playing games, because the karmic is going to like eventually be like, I can't take it anymore. They've been hurt, so they want to, they're going to want to let go because they're going to want to be loved again. They feel like, well, if I burn them enough, where I don't hold back on an emotional level, I don't give anything. I'm just kind of like dead weight. This person may be living with this karmic, but if they're there, they're not there. They're checked out. They're not giving this karmic anything. So by the day, this karmic is getting more and more and more and more angry. And I don't like this person, and I'm going to tell you why. Because what they do is they play games. They've played games with this karmic for a long time. I kind of feel like this person is making that karmic almost like bipolar, where now there's a lot of aggression on both parties because there's a lot of anxiety, and that's what happens when you have two people that are one upping you. So here you are, you're not even participating in this, but that karmic is fighting over about you a lot, or they don't know that it's you, but they know that it's somebody. Somebody's getting the attention. Somebody is, because by now this person would have broken. They would have caved. They would have given in. Finding out the truth crushed me. So what this person thought, you were going to fight for them. They thought, and what they see is that you're not really bothered by it. You know what? It's like I feel like you're not even they thought they perceived you as someone else. So what's crushing them is that they toyed. They toyed with this. They toyed with this divine connection. They knew that you were twin flame. They didn't really want to make any decision. They wanted that karmic to make the decision to leave them. And they held back. This karmic knew exactly what they were doing. And they were saying, I'm not going to let go. I'm not going to let go because I don't care if you're, not with me. You're just not going to go back to whoever you left me for. It's like I want that person to think that I won. So, and I know that's how toxic this karmic is because they're like, I'm gonna win at any cost. It became almost like a game because they knew what your person was doing. We will be together again. This person is like, I'm determined to be with you because that's why this karmic is pissed because they're like, it should have worked by now. You should have caved to me. This karmic has done a lot of damage to this person's life, and even though your person has anxiety and like there's a lot of aggression there, they're still not doing anything. They want that karmic to end it, and this karmic knows it, and this karmic knows that there's somebody else. They don't know who. And and as the days go by, there's more and more aggression because there's this karmic isn't getting anything. And then your person is being aggressive because they're like, just let go already. You already know I don't want to be with you. Let go. So what? There's someone else. They don't say this, but that's in their attitude. That's the way that they're avoidant. They're avoiding that karmic and just saying, hey, listen, I don't want to be with you in those words. Or if they did, the karmic's like, you're not going anywhere. And this person sees is, it's time for me to heal now. How could I wind up with someone like this? See, that karmic exposed themselves because I feel like this person has tried to leave before. It was never a twin flame connection like what it is now. And that's why this karmic is like, usually this person caves in, but you're a twin flame. Where I feel like that karmic thought that they were a twin flame, and I feel like your person thought that they were a twin flame for a long time because it was a karmic connection. But what they're seeing is that this karmic is like a Jezebel. It's like they don't really love them. It's more about dominance. It's more about control. It's more about what things look like on the outside, which means and this is what your person knows because they're saying, I'm not giving anything to them. I'm holding back. I'm giving them no love at all. I'm giving them nothing, which is pissing that karmic off. However, the karmic knows you're doing that so that I get mad, so I tell you to leave. I'm not going to tell you to leave. So again, when you have two people that are not saying anything, there's a lot of animosity, there's a lot of aggression that's underneath, and somebody is going to pay for it. And it's like your person's ready to get whatever the karmic retribution is from that karmic person because they want out of that connection. So whatever that karmic's going to do to them, they're like, go ahead and do it already. Just it's time that this is over. And that karmic is getting so much anxiety, has so much anxiety and so much aggression because they're like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? They don't know who you are, but they know that there's somebody there. And they know that your person can't stop thinking about you and that they regret lying. That, hey, they didn't want to tell you about that karmic. I feel like they were confused for a long time. That karmic kept them confused, saying, I'm that twin flame. That person's not. That person's not a twin flame. I know you're leaving, and your person's denying that they're going anywhere because they already know what that person has in store if they meet you or come in contact, that they're going to try and end it. So your person's just not doing anything. They're holding back. They're waiting, and if there was a little confusion about that karmic, there's no confusion now. They know exactly who that karmic is. And that's why the karmic is having anxiety. So this person loves you. And that's the thing. They're just not available right now because they're dealing with that karmic. And that's this. They realize that they love you unconditionally and they feel as if you love them unconditionally because they can still feel you. So they hope that you can forgive them for staying in that situation. They just felt a loyalty to that person. And I feel like because that person did a lot for them, because your person never like was in love. They were a past life karmic mate where your person learned to love them by how much they did, how much they sacrificed. So it's almost like if this karmic doesn't have this person, they don't have a life. They base their life around that person. And what your person is saying is, well, you were the best thing in my life because you were real. This person's not real. So even if I spend 20 years with that person, you were still the real one because what I see is that person doesn't care whether I cheat on them, whether I don't give them any affection at all, whether I'm there and I'm not there. They don't care just as long as I don't move on. And that's what's making this person because you're not chasing them. And they're like, and I still have a connection to you. So that's how they found out. I feel you even though we're apart. This is how they know you're my person. And they're grateful for the spiritual lesson because they would have stayed connected to a karmic that really doesn't have their best interest at hand. That's preventing them from actually moving forward because it's not real. It's not even real for your person. They feel a loyalty. They felt a loyalty for how much that person sacrificed and gave and made it work, that tried to make it work. So that's it. It's like this person's too attracted to you. They tried to bury themselves in their work to forget about you. They're starting to understand this connection and they were still waiting for a sign from you. And I feel like this karmic made this person lose themselves for a while and that they, they just feel you like, kind of leaving them behind. So that's why they're getting aggression because it's like this karmic is sitting there waiting and wasting time and it's like it's freaking them out because it's like, well, I never really was honest. I really was not as transparent as I should be. I hid who I really was from you. And I know I mess up everything, but I am becoming a better person because of it, because I'm realizing that this person didn't have my best interest, but I needed to go through this experience, this person said, to really see the truth. Otherwise, I would have never seen it. So even though I hurt you, I'm glad that I see the truth. And I hope that you can forgive me. So that's where they are dealing with that karmic. And kind of checked out is what I feel like. So we're gonna just look at some of the behaviors here to see what it is. And so we see first card out is trauma. Second card out is contracts. Well, that's what they're dealing with right now. It's again the trauma is childhood trauma that is continuing to play out through a karmic contract that they have to choose themselves. They have to love themselves. They have to know that they're worthy. See, That karmic has kept your person in a low vibration in order for them to stay with them, and your person never realized it. It was all about trying to conform them, and now it's like they don't want to. It's like, and the reason why the karmic's like that is because your person on some level is an overachiever when it comes to work, when it comes to finances, when it comes to other things. So it makes them feel whole because they're with this person, even though there's not real love there. And so your person has adopted like family karma from their parents. So watching their parents stay together, even though it was a loveless relationship, and so this person has tried to suppress their emotions through many different ways. And, there's a lot of money has been wasted since, all this is going on, since your person has held back. And it's because this karmic is jealous. They're so jealous, and your person has to move out of a place of victimhood, and there's a part of this karmic that, their image is being shattered, but understand everybody's inner child is being like triggered. So that's where this person is right now. They're, trying to work, their inner child is wounded, and they're in that, they have to get themselves out of the victim. Just because that person that they're connected to is jealous, they have to use their voice. This person doesn't want to. Again, I feel like they have blockages when it comes to being able to express themselves and set boundaries. They don't want to hurt this person. They feel bad for this person because they know that without them, they don't have a life. They're just not happy. They're not happy, and they're saying, well, you don't even love me. You want to stay with me because of stuff, because of what it looks like for you, for all the wrong reasons. And I want more, which shows again your person is spiritually healed whether they want to or not, because they're saying, you know what, I'm grateful for this lesson. I still feel you. You're my person because you're not forcing me to be with you. Your life is fine. You went on, you moved on, and your life is okay. I'm stuck here with this person. And that's all that you needed to do was really let go of this person for them to like really see that it's like they could deal with it staying with the karmic if you would have entertained this. And the karmic has allowed that for a lot of time where this person cheated and cheated and cheated. They don't care because at the end of the day, they were the ones that were benefiting. I get to live in the big house. I get to look like I'm married to this person. I'm the winner. When really, this person was like never had a connection like this before. It's like, and you didn't give them anything. So it's not like there's been this big love affair with them. And because of that, this person has a lot of respect for you, and they have no respect for that karmic because they're like, oh, you're not like who you say you are. You pretended to be like that person, but you're not that person. So we have to look at the six inner wounds, inner child wounds, and what we see: discipline, organized chaos, protection, inner authority, innocence, and isolation. Well, I feel like when you were growing up, there it was chaotic. And that could be for a number of reasons. Your parents didn't get along, if they fought all the time, which I feel like you grew up in the same type of dynamic that this person did. But there was a lot of fighting, and love a lot of times looked like hate in your household. And understand that's family karma. The way that we talk to each other is taught from our parents, from our family, from the environments that we've been around. And so, I feel like as a child, you're isolated a lot because of that you didn't feel safe. And you didn't feel safe. That says protection, even though you can't see it, because of the chaos. And the chaos could have been anything. Could be your parents fighting. It could be, your mother was in a bad relationship with somebody. There was problems, there was fighting. So you learned to isolate in order to feel safe, in order to feel protection. Again, and because of that, you kind of restored your innocence. There's a part of you that tended to give people the benefit of the doubt because you grew up in an environment where you saw your mother or your father continue to take someone back with never really any explanation. So you also grew up in like a trauma bond type of connection. And the thing is that you didn't participate in anything with this person because they never gave you enough. And that's what this person didn't realize. They were used to giving breadcrumbs to that karmic. I mean, that karmic did all the work in the relationship, so they really were ignorant to it, even though you felt like it was insult. And because you felt like it was an insult, you began to discipline yourself. And I feel like because of the chaos growing up, you didn't discipline yourself by creating yourself. Really, that's what kids do. They have to discipline themselves in school to do their schoolwork. Why? So that they can go to college. Why? Because everything builds on everything. At one time, it was the education that you got, which would determine the type of life you can live, right? And so if the parents are so consumed with their issues, they're not going to emotionally be there for whatever you need to deal with. And I feel like you didn't discipline yourself. You grew your intuition. You have very strong intuition where you listen to yourself, but it was more of a survival, what you needed to do to survive. And that could even include emotional survival. So it was the chaos of not feeling safe. And really, this person not is in this type of situation. You're not in this situation. If you would have been in this situation before this person had the realization of who you are and what you mean to them, again, realizing that you're a twin flame because hey, here it is, this karmic is doing everything in the book to, to prevent this person from leaving, and this person is seeing that that karmic mask is falling off, and they're like, wait a minute, I have this loyalty to you, but meanwhile you have no loyalty to me. You don't care if I stay in a low vibration. You don't care whether I ever experience love ever, just as long as it looks a certain way and your pockets are getting full. All of it. It's again, so it's very like, chaotic over there in this person's home. But if you would have been with them ahead of time, you would have been like a distraction possibly for that karmic again, where now your person feels a loyalty to that karmic because of again how much they gave, how much they sacrificed. They met you along the way, but you listen to your intuition. And you're like, no, you don't make me feel safe. If you're not giving to me, you're giving to somebody else. If you can't like acknowledge my feelings fully, then why is that? Then you're not my person. And so, and you cut it where this karmic never did, and it exposed them. And so Spirit says, so understand it's going to take a little time for this person to get away from that karmic because of that karmic, but you should be healing yourself because this person is stepping it up to twin flame level. Now, you may not think so because you're like, well, they did all that. They had to. They were in that situation. They were never planning on meeting you. And then they didn't really play it right. They were shady in the beginning. They were liar in the beginning. And that's because that karmic allowed them to live that way. Now, all of a sudden, that they want to leave, well, now there is a problem, you know? So, Spirit says, while you are, not with this person, you should be, like learning how to flow with grace, meaning you have to learn how to go with the flow. Like, and that was to learn how to be with peace with yourself so that you could like really let go of who you were to become who you are, meaning there was too much of that old experience, the inner child wounds. And that's because you, again, were not at peace with yourself, that there's actually infinite possibilities for you, like that you need to fulfill the promise to yourself first by becoming yourself. It's all about the good and bad experiences that are helping you to, evolve. And so you're on your soul's path right now, is what Spirit's saying, that there's other opportunities out there. So you're like, if this is my twin flame, well, Spirit's saying you have to be in your energy so that when this person comes to you, that they step it up to your level. Understand they're getting out of their situation. But that doesn't mean that they know like where to go or who they are. They know that they have feelings, so you can't recreate a imbalanced codependent connection, okay, where you become that fixer. This is about you embracing your life. This person will follow suit. It's again, you are the muse for that person, is what Spirit's saying. Don't kid yourself when we're talking about a divine union. You're getting a person that makes you hold to your standard, and they don't know what that standard is. But they're going to emulate it. They're going to copy it because love makes us do things that we wouldn't normally do. This person knows who you are. And that's the thing. But you have limitless potential. The only limits are the ones that you impose on yourself, even with this person. It's not about abandoning yourself, but I feel like being that this person's an overachiever, that they're coming into your life and they're going to benefit your life too. But it's not about you abandoning who you are. It's about standing in your power, not isolating, but really showing up for yourself and focusing on how you want your life to look. This person's going to come along. Like I said, they're going to help you. They're your divine counterpart. But this is about you going into the unknown to open your heart to the new, where true growth occurs. Call for exploration because you don't know everything when it comes to, your path. And that's because you meet people and different situations that are going to give you clues. See, the path unfolds while you're on it, and Spirit says you got to go into the unknown because you're going to find different elements of yourself and different perceptions of life. And that's also shaping you to become who I intended you to become. And really, when your twin flame comes into your life, you hold the standard for that. You're their muse. And it's not that they're not going to benefit your life. It just so happens that you help them in the beginning, even though they hurt you in the beginning. And that's the irony, because you'd be like, well, I think that they should. And Spirit says you need to learn how to forgive. If you want, you don't have to take this person back. You have free will. You could say no. You chose to go with that person. This person was with that person the whole time. That's the whole thing. They lied. They lied. So even though they knew who you were, they still lied because, again, they had a loyalty. So, I mean, it's up to you. You choose what you want to do, but you have free will, and Spirit says they are your divine counterpart in spite of that, because your divine counterpart makes you do things that don't feel good, and forgiveness may be one of your things, especially if you grew up in the same type of dynamic where you had to go into isolation and, kind of raise yourself, is what Spirit's saying. Like, you would need to be able to forgive, especially if you grew up the way that person did, and had your own karmic contracts in the past. So we leave off with one: divine light. Know that you're the expression of love and you shine like the sun. Your inner light is your strength and your treasure. Your intuition guides you to discover the wonders and the goodness of who you are. And so we get to see our divine light too when our divine counterpart comes into our life. It's not that they're your other half. They feel like your other half because the way that they think, the way that they do things is so opposite from you, even though you have the same wounds. It means that they learned how to survive differently than you did. But Spirit says both are still in balance. Like if this person is really navigating their life from the logical, analytical mind, and you're very intuitive and creative, well, God says I'm both. I'm masculine and feminine energies. I'm not a man or a woman. I have both divine energies, and you too are supposed to hold those divine energies. And you might have too much feminine energy, and this person might have too much masculine energy. And it doesn't mean that you're a man or you're a woman. You just learn how to survive with those traits. And Spirit says, but that other element of you, again, if you're stronger as a masculine, those feminine energies are too weak for you to be able to manifest. The subconscious blocks from the traumas that you grew up with are preventing that abundance, and healing and forgiveness is essential. So you may say, I attracted this person because I needed to learn how to forgive, to let go, to be compassionate and understand. You may say, well, no one did that for me. And Spirit says, aha, that's the issue. It's like, but it doesn't matter that no one did it for you. You have to learn how to do and be that way, because those are the energies of me. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. The Spirit says, I don't care how you get there, because you're then going to really see your divine light. You're going to be able to, shine like the sun and really discover who you were truly meant to become, not the fragmented part of who you perceive that you are. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated. We're on today at 4:34 coaching. Sign up today if you want to be a healer and you want to heal those shadows. I will talk to you soon. I love you. Be true to yourself. Goodbye.